What's going on, guys? Crypto Renegade here again with another video for you, and in today's video this is part 3 of my 5-part series on how to buy Bitcoin. In today's video we're going to be talking about specifically the best ways to buy Bitcoin with a debit card, and I'm going to show you the 2 most common ways that I do it, and then I'll throw in a third for a bonus because I did touch on it on a previous video, but I'll include it because all of these are the cheapest and most reliable and effective ways to use or to buy Bitcoin with a debit card specifically, because as you're probably aware, if you buy it with a credit card, the fees can go anywhere from 8 to 15 to even 20%, which is, in my opinion, really a worst case scenario, emergency type situation if you really need Bitcoin for whatever reason. But more people need economic ways and different ways, and in a future video, I think the next video up is going to be how to buy it with a bank account, which is going to be the cheapest. But today we're talking about how to buy it with a debit card, and we're going to jump right into it. I'm going to give you the cheapest and best options that I use. These are options that I've personally used in the past and I still use periodically today. And I just wanted to give you options other than Coinbase or other than exchanges that are going to collect a lot of your KYC data, and more importantly, they're going to charge you the most amount of fees. So let me go ahead and jump right into it here. Today we are looking at how to buy Bitcoin with a debit card. Alright guys, welcome back. So today we are looking at these different options for how to buy it with a debit card. I'm going to jump right into it with option number 1. And as you can see on my screen here, the first option is pay.sendwire.com. This is a fairly new company. They have built a lot of APIs, and they built a lot of connections with a lot of different crypto companies for integrations to make it easier for their users to buy Bitcoin with a debit card directly in, but I like to use it as a standalone. So anyone can go to this URL. I'll leave a link down below in the description as well for this, but it's pay.sendwire.com. And as you can see here, this is a very simple, very easy to use interface. Right now, the fees are roughly 5%, 4 to 5%, which again is relatively cheap when you're buying Bitcoin, because you have to understand that banks charge a little bit higher of a fee, or these middlemen companies like SendWire need to actually cover a little bit of the risk that's associated with it, so the fees aren't going to be free. It's going to be, in this case, we'll start with this one, which is about 4 to 5% in my example here. What's interesting is this is extremely simple. You just put in your BTC address. You can use Apple Pay if you have an Apple Pay enabled device, so whether you buy it on your phone or whether you buy it on a Mac that has Apple Pay supported with the Touch ID option, you can actually choose Apple Pay or a debit or a credit card. Again, if you do the credit card option, it's going to be a lot more expensive, but specifically it gives you an option for Apple Pay or a debit card, which is really nice. It asks for your currency. In this case, it's, in the example, it's USD converting into BTC. If you're outside of the United States and you use euros or pounds or Australian dollars or Canadian dollars, you can do that as well. And you can buy Bitcoin, Ether, or several different stable coins like DAI, USDC, Tether, and Paxos, and so on. So you have a lot of different options, but in this example you can do USD directly into BTC. As you can see, you can type in here any amount you want. In my example that I'm going to be doing here is $50 of Bitcoin, and I'm going to be choosing the debit card option. As you can see here, it's giving what the generalized exchange rate is as of filming this video. The transaction fee and the network fee are separated, but they're essentially all the same fee. The network fee is going to be what the miners are charging, and the transaction fee is what SendWire is actually charging directly. So as you can see, the purchase total is $52.80. That's roughly 5% of the total purchase price. On this option, I believe you can go all the way up to $1,000, buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin in a single setting, and it's very simple. You just confirm the amount, you check the box, and then you go to next. It'll ask for your basic payment information, and then you're done. So very simple, very easy to use. This is one I use very commonly, especially if I just need to get a couple $100 in Bitcoin real quick or something along those lines. And ultimately, this is the simplest interface. You don't require any integrations. You don't require any third-party wallet setups. This is straight to the point. You just put in your Bitcoin wallet address, you put in your debit card, you go next, you confirm the amount, and then it's just going to ask for your payment information, and off you go. It's delivered instantly. I got my delivery on the first time I did this in under, I think, 20 minutes. So it's very, very quick. It's just a block confirmation time. So anyways, this is pay.sendwire.com. This is very simple to use, and this is what you want to use if you're a newcomer and you may be buying Bitcoin with a debit card for the very first time ever. The second one I'm going to look at here is through ShapeShift. So if you're unfamiliar with my previous videos, I'm a big supporter of ShapeShift. I use the KeepKey wallet in this platform for trading and what have you. And even if you don't have a hardware wallet, you can set up a free software wallet with Portis here. Or if you have a KeepKey, a Trezor, or a Ledger, they integrate directly in with ShapeShift as well. But again, we won't go into the whole ShapeShift part of it thing, but the reason I use this is not only do I like to store and trade my coins directly on a hardware wallet, which you can do very easily here, it also gives you the option for a software wallet. And then what I like to do here is there's a button here that says buy crypto. When you click that button, it brings you here, ShapeShift that has an integration with Banxa. And what I like about this is even cheaper depending on the amount of Bitcoin that you're actually trying to buy. So interface is pretty straightforward here. And again, if you have a hardware wallet hooked up, it's going to go directly onto your hardware wallet and no interim. So if you just want to buy Bitcoin as a savings option, you don't have to transfer it to a software wallet and then a software wallet to a hardware wallet where you're paying double fees. This is the best way to do it. So interface is pretty straightforward. You enter in the amount. We'll do a $50 amount just for this example here. It'll shows you the amount of BTC that you'll receive. Again, this one gives you a lot more options if you want to buy altcoins as well. So you got Chainlink, Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple, BNB, Tether, or USDC coin. So you have that option. And then depending on which country you're in, you have a lot more options for your currency. And in this example, we're using USD again. And then you just enter in your wallet address. So we'll go ahead and put in my same wallet address here that I had before as an example. And then the payment service here, the gateway is only at 1.99% and it's processed instantly. And then you can save it for repeat purchases if this is something you want to do on a recurring basis, which is really nice. So you just fill that in, put in the dollar amount you want to spend. It'll show you what you're going to receive. You can switch your currencies and your altcoins if you choose. If you use a Visa or a MasterCard, again, this is for debit cards. So if you use a Visa or a MasterCard credit card, the fees are going to be a lot more. This is specifically for a debit card, and that's why the fees are so low at only 1.99%. You just click on Create Order, and it's going to take you through the same information where it's going to ask for your setting up a quick account, your email, your phone number, and then your payment and card information. And then as soon as you submit it, it's done instantly. I did a test on Banxa for putting Bitcoin onto my hardware wallet, on one of my hardware wallets, and just testing out the interface, and it is very smooth. So I've done this at least 3 to 4 times using Banxa, and I do this mainly when I want to just add to my cold storage. So if I'm buying something that I'm going to immediately send to someone, like if I'm sending someone Bitcoin for a payment for work they've done or whatever the case is, I'll typically use SendWire. If I want to do this for accumulating savings, I'll typically use Banxa for my hardware wallet storage, but you can use it for either or. You can use whatever software wallet you want to use if you don't want to use a hardware wallet and go from there. So this is Banxa. Now the third and final option that I'm going to show you today isn't really on the screen right now, but I'm only going to mention it because the fees are extremely low. And if you're buying an amount under $100 at a time, you can use Cash App. Now, I personally don't like, one of the downsides of Cash App is that there's very extensive KYC. So if you're already using Cash App and you've already used their investing tools or anything like that, this is a great option for you. If you're hesitant or leery to fill out a lot of personal information and get it verified, I completely understand. You're not going to get a lot of KYC with Banxa and with SendWire, but with Cash App, the fees are extremely low. I'm going to link up a video here, and it will go over what the fees and examples are with buying Bitcoin on Cash App. It's very simple and very easy to use, but what I like about it, and I'm just including it as a final option here, is because the fees are extremely low. I mean, in that 1 to 2% range if you're buying anything under $100 at a time. You can technically buy with them up to $10,000 of Bitcoin per week, but the fees are going to scale a little bit more whether you're using your Cash App balance or whether you're using a debit card or bank account. The fees are the same. It's only, again, the credit card levels that the fees tend to go up because there's higher risk for the banks. So anyways, I just wanted to give you my top 3 options that I use specifically to buy Bitcoin with a debit card. And very easy, very trusted. I've tested personally all these options and I know that they work well, and these are the cheapest fees that I have found that's with a reliable company. There are companies out there that'll promise 0 fees and all those kinds of things. I personally wouldn't trust that. You know, if it's too good to be true, it usually is. So these are things that I've personally used, personally tested, and that I trust in the crypto ecosystem. Again, ShapeShift and their partnerships have always been very good. SendWire used to be a partnership with ShapeShift, and that's when I tested them first, but now it's just so easy to use directly, and I don't have to go through any third parties if I just want to buy a quick amount of Bitcoin on my debit card. Very, very simple, whether it's a business card or a personal card or whatever. So these are my 3 options. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, comments down below, I will answer them for you. Again, this is a 3rd video in a 5-part series on the best ways on how to buy Bitcoin. And in the next video, stay tuned, we're going to touch on how to make or how to buy Bitcoin with a bank account directly and what your cheapest options and reliable options are going to be there. Some of these videos overlap on some options, but that's just because I personally use them frequently and I trust them, and I don't have any issues, you know, with fees or anything else. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up here. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I would appreciate it. We talk about how to buy Bitcoin, different ways to spend Bitcoin, where to spend it, how to invest it, how to protect your private keys on a hardware wallet. If that's something that interests you, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you hated the video and thought it sucked in any way, give it a thumbs down. I'd like as much feedback as possible, but I'm here to give the people exactly what they're looking for, and that's why I want to make these basic videos on the best ways on how to buy Bitcoin. Anyways, I'm going to wrap that up here. Crypto Renegade out.